Hi everyone, this is Mindy Eggen and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is part of a YouTube hop for the Honeybee Stamps Birthday Bliss release. We are celebrating Honeybee Stamps' 7-year anniversary and their new release. Leave comments along the way to be entered to win one of two $25 gift cards for Honeybee Stamps. I will have the next person in the hop linked down below in the video description. My card for you today will be creating a panel shaker card. I'm featuring the big Buzzword Stamp Set and the Honeycuts, and these are great for not only birthday but lots of other occasions as well. I'm going to start by creating my background, and for this I am using the Layering Balloons stencil. This is a 2-piece stencil and it was previously released. I thought it would just work really well for my sentiment that I planned on doing. Now this stencil includes some bigger balloons and smaller balloons. I went with the smaller sized balloons. So I have that stencil held down in place using my Make Art Station and some magnets. And I have some Neenah Solar White cardstock that is 80 pound. Then I'm going to be bringing in a rainbow of distress oxides to do my ink blending, starting with picked raspberry, wilted violet, salvaged patina, twisted citron, squeezed lemonade, and dried marigold. I started my rainbow kind of in a backwards order because I seem to always leave purple out, so I wanted to make sure purple got the attention that it deserved. When I'm ink blending, I am going in circular motions both from left to right and right to left to make sure I have even coverage across the balloon, and I'm also making sure to blend my colors into each other because I really love that kind of light transition between the colors. Now, one of my favorite things to do with a rainbow background like this is go back over those areas with my blending brush, and that just kind of helps make the background so it's not so stark white. Sometimes I will just use the leftover ink that is on that brush, but if I don't have enough on there or I already cleaned my brush off with some scratch paper, I will bring the ink pads back in and just pick up a little bit of the ink, but I do dab off on the side there to kind of get off that first harshness that the ink might leave. I just want to lightly add color. I don't want that to overpower my balloons. I want to be able to still see all of my balloons. Then I'm going to take the Sweet Stacks rectangles and pick one of the sizes out of there, lay it over my background, and die cut that panel out. Then I'm going to pull out my Bitty Buzz Cutter, which is just this mini die cutting machine that folds up nicely and can sit on the side of my desk. And I'm going to die cut out the big Buzzword out of some matte silver mirror cardstock. Now, I had completely forgotten when I kind of started this card is I actually wanted to turn it into a full panel shaker, and I completely forgot about that. They have some full panel like pre-made shaker cards that you can use, but since I trimmed mine down, I think mine is about 3.5 by 4 3/4. I needed to kind of customize the size, and to do that, I have just some leftover packaging from a stamp set. This is probably like a 6x8 or from a 6x8 stamp set. So I have this over my paper trimmer, and I am kind of eyeballing out about a 1/2 inch around my panel. I want to make sure I'm leaving enough room that I can fold it over my blended panel here and seal that shut so my shaker bits don't fall out. So to do this, I'm going to take some red line tape, and I'm lining the entire back of my blended panel with that red line tape. And I'm also going to add it to the edges of that clear kind of cellophane piece that I have here from the packaging. This might be a little overkill, but it's been a while since I made a shaker like this, and I just want to make sure that nothing is going to fall out. So I placed my blended background face down on that kind of cellophane piece, and then I'm peeling up 3 sides of the cellophane and also my cardstock panel. So I'm removing that red line tape backer, and then I'm folding these in to the back of my blended panel. We want to leave one area open. So whether it's the top, the bottom, the side, just as long as one of them is open so we can add our shaker bits. There are plenty of shaker bits that we could add to the inside of this. I was digging through my stash and I found these kind of iridescent stars. I think these were from a card kit that I had done at one time, and I thought they would be just the perfect thing to add to this. It's not so much a shape or a design that would take away from the background, and it really just added to kind of the fun and festive theme that I had going on. So I added some of those stars, and I'm just kind of shaking it around to make sure I didn't add too much. And once I'm happy with it, I can flip this over and remove the rest of that red line tape and seal this up. So now we have this panel shaker card. I can't say full panel because I had already trimmed this down, but these are just really lots of fun and take up very little bulk to it. I am going to add a little bit of bulk because I'm placing some double-sided foam adhesive sheets to the back of it, and that's just adding a little bit of dimension and also providing even coverage across my panel. Then I can remove the last backing piece of that double-sided foam and add to a card front that is cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I love to add little sub-sentiments, and I already have the big Buzzword die cut out in that silver, so I want to add a smaller sentiment to that. And there are lots of options that you can choose from off of the big Buzzword Stamp Set. I am using Congratulations because graduation season is upon us, and I think this would make a fun graduation card. So I prepped my black cardstock with an anti-static powder tool. I'm stamping the word Congratulations in white pigment ink, sprinkling on white embossing powder, and then I can melt that embossing powder with my heat tool. So you want to make sure your heat tool is really nice and hot when you come to your embossing powder. I'm going to take a Swiffer cloth and just brush over that once it's cooled down to help remove any of the excess powder. And then I'm going to bring this over to my mini paper trimmer to trim this down into a thin strip and trim the edges too. So I just have a really nice small skinny strip sentiment for the front of the card. I'm going to take my big Buzzword that I die cut out of that silver matte cardstock, add a little bit of liquid glue to the back, and place this on the front of the card right on top of that cellophane. I'm just kind of brushing away with my fingertip any excess glue that might be there so it doesn't kind of ooze out of the sides. And then using my tweezers, I can line this up in the center. Now, one thing I really like to do lately with my smaller sentiments is instead of adding foam squares to pop that up or to make flush with my other word that I'm overlapping, I have really been liking cutting thin strips of cardstock and adding that behind the piece that I need kind of propped up, because this is going to overlap the bottom portion of the G, so it's not going to be flush across the front of the card. By adding these small strips of cardstock right on that one side, I can kind of customize how much I want it popped up, whereas foam squares, you're kind of stuck with whatever thickness it is. So like I stated before, there are some pre-made A2 panels that you can turn into a full front panel shaker card. I just had to kind of customize it this way with some packaging because I had already trimmed my panel down. I kind of forgot that I wanted this to be a shaker instead of just a regular card. Either way would look amazing. I think these are just a lot of fun. You don't get a ton of shake out of them like a regular shaker card, but I still think they're fun no matter what. That's going to finish up my card project for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video and card project. Be sure to leave your comment down below to be eligible to win one of 2 gift certificates to Honeybee Stamps. Thank you so much for stopping by today. Here are a few other videos I think you might enjoy.